Hello and welcome to another week of Sambo iRacing. It's week 8, season 2, 2024 in the Ray Racing. Formula 4, the FF1600 at Tsukuba for the full course layout. Fun, twisty little track, not a great deal of overtaking opportunities, so make sure that you practice hard and quali well, and then hold off any attacks from behind. There really should be an awful lot of reason why you give up places this week if you know what you're doing. Okay, enough of that. Let's start the lap. Okay, so usual stuff. I started this test session from the schedule in the UI for the Formula Ford. So if you do likewise, you should end up with the same stuff as me in terms of track temperature and stuff like that. Okay, so we're over on the left-hand side. We're leaving it in third gear. And what we're looking for here is just alongside those barriers where it goes from being just a chain link fence to a fence you cannot see through. That's going to be our braking marker. So just as we get alongside that, we're going to brake hard in a straight line, aiming just to the right of the marshal post again, up to about 85%. So, nearly as hard as you can press. And we're going to do a real long, slow trail off. If you see, I'm still coming off the brakes even now, very, very slowly, dropping it down to second gear. I just did a little bit of a blip when I did that, just to make sure there was no sort of locking of the rears. And then all the way down to first gear, we're going to slowly build back up on the throttle. I say slowly, it's like in a quarter of a second sort of thing. We're going to clip the apex and the curbing on the inside on the right. And as we move back away from the apex, we're getting up to full throttle. Car's going to drift out to the left-hand side, up to second gear, up to third. We're going to go as straight as we can, so we're going to go over this curbing and then the one ahead of us. And then just as we exit off this apex here, we're again going to brake really hard in a straight line. I think I go up to nearly 100%, yeah, 98% there. Again, I'm pointing directly ahead at this bush and this sort of telephone antenna thing right there. And we're going to do a nice, slow, long trail off on the brakes again, down to second gear. I gave it just a tiny, tiny blip without even knowing about it. And then down to first. And again, same thing as we come off the apex, fully back on the throttle. Car's going to feel a bit boggy, not a lot we can do. Up to second gear. And now we're not braking for this next turn, for turn 5. All we're doing is, as we get over to the left-hand side, we're going to give it a big old lift, massive lift there, down to 10-15% briefly, trying to build back up on the throttle. We're going to take a whole heap of curbing, a little bit of grass and mud on the right-hand side, and then as we come off, building back up to 100% on throttle, straight up to third gear, holding it as close to the left-hand side as you can, leaving it in third gear. Now the next braking marker is the apex, or this elbow up ahead of us. Once we get on that, we're going to brake hard in a straight line again up to 99%. And it's the same turn again that we had at turn 1 more or less, and turn 2 or 3, whatever it is. We're just going to slowly bleed off the brakes down to second gear, down to first gear. It is a bit slippy, this inside curve, so I'm just staying off it. Blasting it out in first, second, and now third. Now we're going up to fourth. Very similar to the V. So this blue bale in the Ford is just slightly before that. As we get there, we're going to brake just up to about halfway, slowly bleed it off. And now I'm just feathering the throttle and the brake, just looking for the grip, just trying to keep the car rotating, dropping it down to third gear and looking to try and build back up on the throttle. So I'm noticing that every time I'm increasing the pressure with my right foot on the throttle, my car starts veering out to the left. So I'm just trying to maintain the slip angle so that I can get back on the throttle as early as possible, which is really quite late to full throttle here on the final turn. But if I'd have gone any earlier, I'd have ended up in the grass and over and across the line in a 58-100. 58 seconds and a 10th. Right, full speed run through from the chase cam. Okay, let's start the lap. Over on the left-hand side, in third gear, looking for that railing. Trail it all the way down off really late apex, down to first gear. Up to second. up to third. And again, on this apex here, really long trail break, down to first. That is a perfect telemetry bar. I'm happy with that. Up to third, keeping it tight over to the left-hand side. And again, on this elbow, braking really hard. Real slow trail. I don't see this telemetry until I come back and actually do the voiceover, so I'm really quite pleased with that. Slowly building back up on the throttle. And over and across the line, as I say, for a 58.1, final time. Okay, here we are for the final run-through. Very quick guide this week. I've been Sambo iRacing. Thanks for watching. See you next week.